So, welcome to our first little video of the alignment. Today, I'm joined with my lovely wife, Joywin, and it is me, Marvelous Mind.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, I remain anonymous. Da-da-da-da. But, anyways, what are we going to be talking about today?
Today I feel like speaking about peace.
In sync with the car horn. Yeah.
Exactly, and how one can find peace in such a busy, noisy environment in our modern world, and the lack of peace.
Yeah. I think sort of
Yeah,
the search for peace is a motivating force that animates a lot of people nowadays. We naturally feel disinclined towards chaos, discomfort, uncertainty. We want to have this kind of grip with our own minds to be able to experience that sense of that bliss that comes with peace. Um, and I think, particularly when people are in a chaotic situation, a chaotic environment, a noisy environment, such as the environment we're in currently,
yeah,
um, it poses a certain kind of challenge with regards to how does one cultivate a sense of this center, this immovable center of peace, such that they can be peaceful wherever they are. You know.
yeah. And I want to talk more about how that is very, very possible to cultivate anytime, any place, wherever you are, to tap into that resource of peace and bliss through the chaos. And I feel like one of the ways that I usually find my glimmers, as they call it, moments that speak to you versus shitty things that happen in your day, you look at more things that sort of make you happy. One of those spaces for me to go to is my meditation practice.
How do you feel when? How does meditation sort of cultivate peace for you?
When I close my eyes, my third eye opens, and I
Describe that sort of experience.
yeah, I will. So that experience basically feels like when I close my eyes and I go back into my original state of peace. It's a very elevated frequency. I detach from my surrounding, I detach from the noise, and I start fading away into my original state of just being one in harmony, just existing like a floating bubble in thin space. It's like the gravity on this planet isn't holding me down. I have nothing holding me down. I'm afloat, and it feels very natural to be in that free, blissful, peaceful state. And I see colors and I see energies move around me. Sometimes I move a lot in my meditation practices. You've seen that my body just moves, not like insanely, but it shifts as if I'm underwater a little bit. But I feel like that's my body receiving certain energies, perceiving what's around me, and adjusting and reacting to that. And it's a wonderful experience. It's a very sensory experience for me, and a lot of people have that in their own ways, but mine is, I'm learning deeper, I see more intricacies to how I achieve or find this peace within, and it's beautiful.
So is it kind of a primordial state of consciousness,
Yes, that's what I was
um,
trying to say. Yes,
a kind of
exactly. Yeah.
like a non-dual state of consciousness where, like, this is something that I feel sometimes where, um, earlier when I was beginning my process of meditation, is a kind of dualistic frame where you feel like I am meditating, I am this separate entity, this separate ego who is doing this activity called meditation, and then
Hmm.
you close your eyes, you're there with reality, but there's that kind of wall that is kind of this perceptual wall which is set up by the illusion that you are separate to what you are experiencing, that you are this
Mm-hmm.
kind of this observer
Mm-hmm.
observing something. Um, as sort of meditation, the practice, the activity of meditation has sort of sunk into my nervous system as perhaps as this sort of deeply embedded way of being. That sense of separation kind of dissolves. I'm just all I could describe this sort of when I sort of close my eyes and return to that sort of primordial state is a sense of just isness, a sense of being, you know. And
Isness, yes.
yeah,
That's a wonderful way to describe it.
and
Yes.
it's this place where like the observer and the observed kind of dissolve into it, into each other. That it has come to realize that there wasn't really a clear distinction in the first place. Whilst we often think the the ego has a tendency to think that it does have an existence that is independent, and therefore, we all think I've got to meditate. But the meditation at its fundamental core, it's not an activity. It is
No,
just
no.
a
Being.
it's a realization of what already is the spontaneous, creative principle of reality, of existence. And we are a process of that. We are like, these little, we are part of the entire wave of existence, moving and evolving, marching onwards in this sort of flux of evolution. But we, as egos, when we identify with our egos, that often creates the impetus for fear, for anxiety, for a lack of peace, because we forget that we are the entire show going on. We forget that, you know, we are the trees, the sky,
All of it.
gravity,
Yeah.
every other life form. That is you. That's your highest identity. But you, we are in this particular perspective. This, I'm in here, you're in there, the person listening is in there, and they think that their complete identity is just this little body mind. But true peace requires sort of transcending that mortal body and realizing their or immortal identity, their kind of timeless identity as everything, everywhere, going on all at once. Seeing that you are the universe experiencing yourself, whatever way you want to sort of conceptualize yourself. And
Mm-hmm.
whilst that doesn't necessarily erase suffering and discomfort that you're maybe experiencing in your life in that particular moment, but it provides you with the higher perspective that allows you to transcend that suffering, and to see that at the highest truth, when you are tapping into reality as it is, there is no pain, there is perfection maybe, but at some point you struggle to really speak about this sort of state of consciousness, because words sort of necessarily sort of elude it. It's a silent state. When
Yes.
you return to that primordial state of consciousness, there is a
Silence. Yeah.
profound silence, a profound stillness, a sense of spaciousness maybe as
Yes.
well.
I resonate with the sense of spaciousness that you just mentioned because um, in our world, everything feels congested. Your mind feels very constricted. It's very, yeah, it's condensed. This is how I see things. I feel it in terms of energy. Um, so that spaciousness, when you meditate, it's like going inside a portal and realizing that, oh wait, I am the portal.
Mm.
It's sort of this entry point into yourself, which is the highest self. And in that there is no compartments, there is no blocks, it is all space. So there's this innate spaciousness. Is how you recognize peace. There's a
Mm.
lot of space in the frequency of peace. It's expansion. It's very
Yeah.
expanded. It doesn't feel constricted or confused or hesitant. You feel very free. It's very
Yeah,
liberating. The feeling of peace is what I am trying to describe, the true feeling of peace in your body.
yeah.
And if someone has never felt that peace in your body, it will be very difficult to recognize these moments.
Mm.
People usually feel peace in like a glimmer or like a blink, maybe for 5 minutes or 5 seconds, but they're never able to truly sustain that for longer durations of time. And why is that?
I think it's because a lot of people condition peace on external things.
Material peace.
Yeah, they feel that I will only realize peace when
I get this, yeah.
certain events occur, certain situations are attained. They externalize their peace rather than seeking it from within themselves. And what we're describing here is this process of discovering that internal peace by realizing your identity as the universal self or God, finding the God within and the God that is expressed in everything. Um, the realizing your unity with Brahman, whatever.
Yes.
Lots of different religious traditions, mystical traditions. They speak of this universal mystical consciousness that we are all existing as, but many egos, many people, many aspects sort of forget that. We're like God playing hide and seek. That's a thing that Alan Watts often describes it as. And as well, as I was listening to you speak about um, meditation as realizing this internal, ever
Portal.
present police, this portal,
Yes.
um, I thought of an analogy to sort of to help people understand um, what we mean here by the spaciousness that is within.
Yes.
And I thought of like a piece of paper, and I thought of how the illusion of separation is caught by crumpling this, creasing this piece of paper up together. Now, of course, there's still one piece of paper, but there are lots of creases within it, seemingly distinctions we can point to. And
Yeah.
this is the congestion of consciousness that we experienced in this kind of level of
State.
existence.
Yes.
Um, People are very congested, very stuck in their heads. This constant busy way of being, thinking what I've got to do next, thinking I'm me and that is not me. And it's like a crease within the paper, identifying with being the crease of the paper
Exactly.
and forgetting that
I
it is
love that.
the paper itself.
Yeah.
And meditation is a way of, the crease,
Being
relaxing it
erased.
out
Yeah.
and, ironing it,
I
ironing
like
out.
that.
And
Ironing the
then it's very
wrinkles.
light, then
Yeah.
you're very spacious, very clear.
Yeah.
And lots of different, like, lots of different yogis describe like enlightenment, the process of enlightenment is like polishing your mirror, you know,
Polishing a mirror. It's
polishing your mirror so
beautiful.
there isn't any blemishes, anything that is sort of,
Stuck on it.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, polishing your
Yeah.
perception um,
Keeping
to
it
see
clear.
the present
Yeah.
moment. Um, yeah, because there are many people don't live in the present moment. Often they live in the past or the future, and they become dissociated one from what is real. They
Hmm.
get distracted. But this process of finding peace is a, a process of orienting for what is real and centering yourself in that state all the time. Now, of course, people will get distracted. They get caught up in worldly things, anxieties, worries that are often conditioned into us by the society and culture that we have to participate in. But there is a way to sort of cultivate that internal resilience, to let it wash over you, to return back to that knowing within that you are, God, maybe. That's a
Yeah.
strong word. People
Yeah.
associate it with a strong word, but it's the closest word. Um,
You can say universe or whatever. It's just a word, but you understand, once you understand the meaning of it, you attach yourself to the meaning of it, not just the mere word. Words are superficial.
and noises,
Yes, they are noises,
exactly.
human noises. But I loved your example. That was very precise and clear for everyone to sort of have a very quick understanding of that. That was delivered really well.
Mm.
And I also wanted to stress on the importance of the present moment and how that contributes to having peace every single time. A lot of people don't really focus on breath, and I want to bring awareness to this very major aspect that contributes to peace is your breathing.
Mm.
The way you breathe can alter your mind, can bring more oxygen to your body, and hence promote peace.
Mm.
Breathing is so underrated, it's insane. The amount of things a single breath can do for you is profound.
Mm.
That is why people are looking into breathing techniques and more sort of somatic healing and things that allow you to breathe. If you're not breathing properly, it is obvious that you will have confusion or certain levels of anxiety. Anxiety happens scientifically when your brain isn't receiving enough oxygen levels. So
Mm.
if you have anxiety, you should. It's a first indicator that you're not breathing well.
Mm.
So, a little quick tip is always to sort of take deep lateral belly breaths. They usually set a very good tone for meditation and promoting that peaceful state. And this is just to focus to not neglect your breath and pay attention to how much you're breathing and how often you're consciously breathing. And I think that could be a very important contributing factor that a lot of people might not really take seriously, but it makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Breathing is your anchor to the present moment,
Yes.
and
It reminds you that you are here in the now, or you wouldn't be able to even take this breath. It is
exactly,
the proof of you being alive.
it is life
It
itself.
is life
You know.
itself, and there is nothing more precious than that. And
Mm.
a lot of value must be placed on breath, oxygen.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think that's a beautiful place to sign off. I think
Yeah.
we can talk about breathing
Yeah.
more in detail,
Yeah.
so some yogic breathing techniques, how they can alter one's consciousness as a kind of meditative practice. There's a lot to really dive into there, but we'll
Yeah.
record that. We'll talk about that next time.
We
But
will. Yeah.
I guess we'll sign off there.
Yeah. We'll sign off
Goodbye,
here.
everyone.
Goodbye.
Adios.